The developmental disabilities field has come under enormous pressure over the past 4 years from budget cuts and burdensome regulations.
Government must progress to stay relevant, not to mention lead. Hubert Humphrey said, and I quote, "The moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the disabled."
Lack of government funding will lead to staffing shortages for our most vulnerable citizens, resulting in the reduction of the number of people that we will be able to serve by thousands, or reduce the quality of life for those that we support.
We are funded by Medicaid. It is the state and federal government who provides the funds that we pay our employees. And those are the direct care workers who care for people who are born by no fault of their own, could not care for themselves in the highest capacity to ensure a quality of life that they may need every day. So our workers have to rely on what government provides to them. We get into a position where they have to feed, they change, they toilet another individual. Their life depends on our workers. We cannot raise prices. We cannot pass that on to a customer. And that creates a very difficult situation for us.
We already have a lot of shortages here because it's very close to what they pay at McDonald's and Burger King. And if we have to compete, even if everybody made $15 an hour, it's a lot more responsibility to be here. If you make a burger wrong, you aren't going to kill somebody. But if you give somebody the wrong food here, they could choke and die. I mean, it's a huge difference in responsibility. It really is. And I would hate to see what could potentially happen.
We believe that everybody should earn a commensurate wage for the job that they perform. And when the announcement came out about $15 an hour for fast food workers and other workers, again, we respect anybody who wants to work. Imagine the folks who work for us who has a person's life in their hands, who cannot care for themselves fully, that they are only being paid $10 to $11 an hour.
But fortunately, some of our elected officials are listening.
I think the most important role for government on all levels is to be there to help in any way possible to remove the obstacles for those of us in this room, for all the people across the state, but especially for the most vulnerable, so they can be everything they can be with the God-given talents they've been given. And if you don't have the staffing to do that, it's very problematic.
We've been at this for a long time. There's a lot to know, a lot to be trained. There's a lot of training that goes to our jobs. And we are not unskilled labor.
Lack of funding has created a waiting list of over 11,000 in New York State, waiting for supported homes in the community for individuals who can no longer be cared for at home with aging caregivers.
I'm young, I have a job, we have a house. That means he's priority 3 in terms of needs. That means it could be decades before he rises up through the ranks to get to the point where he could have housing, unless he had the skill set to be able to live independently. And that's a big gap between living in a group home and living independently. And I think a lot of people who aren't in my shoes, people who don't have somebody with a disability in their lives, don't see how difficult it is to get to living independently or living even in a group home.
Adequate funding is needed now so that we can continue to support the folks at their varying levels of abilities, whether in our supported work centers or in independent jobs in the community. Agencies serving individuals with developmental disabilities rely on government funding to continue to provide the pathways that empower individuals to achieve their greatest potential.
Warren, Washington, Albany ARC is providing us with that pathway. We have that pre-employment program. They're teaching him the skills. He's learning a lot of different jobs, and he goes every day to a job, and he loves it. And he comes home, I ask him, so how was work today? Sometimes I make a mistake and say, how was school today? And I say, how was work today? And he goes, it was great. And that's the answer I get every day he comes home. He loves having a job. He has a really strong work ethic, and he takes great pride in what he's doing. And I hope that that translates someday into a real job, and a consistent job, and a job that he feels is his career, like I have. I love my job, and he wants to love his job too.
Sheltered workshops and supported employment remain under attack, threatening their sustainability.
The workshops close, then the basic training that the people are getting in these workshops, they're losing out on that training. They may not be able to do the pre-vocational programs. They may not feel comfortable going out into the community and working in a public place. Some of the jobs my son has had involved speaking to people in a store, and as long as it was scripted, he was okay with that. But when someone came up and asked him out of the blue where something was in a store, he was frightened, and it was the terrible day.
What do you do in the workshop, Nancy?
QC, tissue, lock leather, mailings.
Okay. And how long have you been working there?
Almost 23 years.
Wow, that's a long time, right?
Yeah, 23 years in February 8th.
Okay. Do you enjoy what you do?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do.
What do you like best?
I don't have a favorite.
You don't?
I don't have a favorite.
Yeah. You know what I found really interesting when I came to work here? Never in my life have I seen so many people want to come to work every day.
I won't go every day. I'll do nuts at home.
Yeah.
I'll do nuts at home.
Okay.
I'll do absolutely nuts. It's I sit home all day.
Right, but here you're nice and active, right? Did you ever look into getting a job in the community outside of here? Or?
I have.
Okay.
It's too stressful.
Is it? You'd rather stay here?
I'd rather stay here. Stay here. I'd rather stay here. When I'm ready to retire, I retired.
Okay. Okay.
I'm tired.
I'm so happy you came to talk to me today about this, Nancy. We're going to do everything we can to keep the workshops open so you can stay there.